Welcome back to 59 Minutes. My name is Levi Kones. We are talking about things about the law that you should know, especially focusing on matters succession. With me is a lady who is an advocate of the High Court. She is well versed in matters to do with family law. Her name is Grace NTEERE. She's been talking to us about why you need a will, why it's important, and it's a Herculean task to get us to understand that part.
Yes.
On average, how many of us do you think have a will in this country?
I would say 1%.
Really, that bad?
It's that bad. It's that bad. Because most of us feel like we are too young to die.
Yeah.
Somebody thinks, well, I'll do a will when I'm 70.
Yeah.
And everyone says, no, a will, it's calling death. I cannot do that.
And many of us feel as if we don't have the kind of property that would require.
Yes, and some think that
would require us putting a will for.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if I have one car house and I'm living in it, I'm like, it should be straightforward. It's going to my family.
And you see, this family might end up not agreeing who will stay in that house. Your eldest son might be saying, no, it is me, the youngest, who is supposed to take what my father had, or the personal belongings of my father. You might be living problems, thinking it wasn't worth putting in a will.
So it's just good to give direction.
It's just good to give direction. I mean, this is your property. You are at liberty to distribute anyhowly you want. Yeah. Even if you want to give somebody 1,000 and the other one give them 1 million, the other one give property in Karen, the other one give a plot in, I don't know what the Kadhonzweni. I mean, you are at will. It is your property. You are the sole proprietor. Just do it. Instead of leaving people here to, fight in court over something they didn't even know. They don't even know how you got it in the first place.
So in the event that the property, you see, like when you're married, the property is usually you and your madam's. In that event, wouldn't your will be disenfranchising her by saying, I'm giving X to so and so and so?
Now you see,
how do we factor her in?
The first beneficiary, of course, in your will is your wife. All your personal belongings, your personal effect, and of course, the house that you're living in, it's for her. But you see, you can't leave everything entirely to her. You can only leave maybe what she will be holding in trust in case you've put her as the administrator of the estate. Of the children, if they are below 18. If they are above 18, you just list them and their ID numbers. Yeah. That will automatically devolve to them.
Okay. We were mentioning about the Unclaimed Assets Authority just over the break, and how they have been set up to, because of people who have all these properties that they have not talked about.
What most people might be asking themselves is, what if we didn't know?
What if we don't know? Where do we start? How do we know? How do we know
what he had and what he didn't have?
Yes, sasa kusema.
Yes. Number one, of course, you find out from, you do the basics from friends. There are some who will be actually very willing to let you know what your spouse had. That's within your small circle. If you don't get anything, or if you feel like there's something that is missing, why don't you go to the insurance companies? Probably you had taken life insurance, or the insurance company will contact you because you're listed. If you're listed as the next of kin, the insurance can help you in identifying some of these things. Because if it's a building, maybe he has taken an insurance with over the building. And number three, if you still feel there is something missing, you go to the tribunal, the unclaimed assets. Ask them, any property listed under this person. But now most people will be fearing to go to the authority, again being who we are. They'll be fearing to go and say, I want to know what property this person had. Because of the fear of this person will be looking at me and say, oh, she doesn't know. Yeah. There is that fear of now
somebody else's information.
This one doesn't know that the husband had this property. And of course, with the selfish nature of human beings, somebody might be tempted to actually, transfer the same, there was nothing. But those three,
So
the
it,
fourth
it,
was the
it,
fourth.
it, seem, it seems to me that the onus of responsibility really just comes back to you.
To you as an individual. It is you who really, you sweat. You put in your sweat, hard work, and, you know, you didn't do all that to leave your property to be, you know, grabbed left, right, and center and leave your beneficiaries suffering. You have the power. It's in your hands. You're the one who got this property. Just share, or, you know, just do the will. Let it be known that you would be comfortable if this person took this car. You would be comfortable if the shares are allocated to this so and so. Yeah. So that at the end of the day, we are not running in court every time we want to amend something because, we've realized that he had a property in Kitengela. You're back to the drawing board. How is it supposed to be distributed? And you see, one thing with the court, it will distribute these things equally. If you can't agree as a family, the court will distribute these things equally.
Is there a limitation to how many amendments you can make if I get a new property next year?
No,
the following year? No,
there's no limitation. You see, the Constitution gives us the power. Everyone has a right, actually, to own property in Kenya. And that takes me to the issue of women inheriting from their fathers. Mm-hmm. You know, traditionally, they would say, if I am married, I should inherit from my husband. I'm not entitled to inherit from my father.
Yeah.
But
a lot of people still believe that.
Yeah, a lot of people still believe that. But the Constitution is actually so clear and says you cannot discriminate. On matters of inheritance, you cannot discriminate because I am a woman. I am equally entitled to the same share that you are entitled to, Levy. So you can't say that because she's a woman and she's married, she will inherit from a husband. I'm entitled to an equal share. If we can't agree on who gets what as a family, the court will grant you an equal share. Or the court, of course, will assess on, what needs to be taken care of. Yeah. Even if I had a sister who passed on or a brother who passed on, but the children are there, you can't say now that this person died, we are not listing them. We will list their children.
Assuming everything goes right. Mm-hmm. Post, a grieving period and you're doing succession. Mm-hmm. What's the average time frame of, from the filing to the execution of the
grant, for you being given a grant?
Everything goes well, the family is agreeing and all that, and, they're going to court and doing. What's the average time for a succession lawsuit to run?
Well, I would say, let's say for like Milimani in Nairobi, of course, considering the bulk of work that the court has, I would give it from 6 months to a year, for the reason that once you agree on how the property is going to be distributed, it needs to be gazetted by Kenya Gazette, so that anyone who might have an interest in this property and feels that they were not taken care of, like I said, creditors or any liabilities, before the final grant is confirmed, they are able to approach the court and tell them, no, this grant should be, But even after it's confirmed, there are also procedures of revocation in case something comes up later. You find out later, probably you are not able to see the Kenya Gazette, and you come across, or probably you didn't know this person died. There are issues. Of course, there is room for that to happen. So the law also takes care of that. After that, you could always approach the court for revocation of that grant. In case, of course, number one, you feel like most people lie, actually. It's so bad that you could go and forge signatures. People forge signatures. That you want to disinherit somebody.
We read the newspapers every time we read about court things. You always see.
Yeah. People forge court papers. Yeah. There are actually others who even forge the chief's letter.
Is it sad? What would you say now as a family lawyer on the issue of families? Because it seems even when it looks direct,
it's not direct.
Yeah. And you have maybe 4 siblings who have the same mother and the same father.
But they cannot agree.
Seem to say, cut this 4 ways.
Well, what I would say is with modernization and I think technology, we are like falling apart. The family, as it should be, a social unit, it's no longer social. So you find that somebody, maybe my sister is in, let's say, the US, and I'm here. There's no that bond. We stop bonding. We stop being honest, because it goes down with the reality that we are human. So you're not feeling free to share with your sister or your brother for whatever reason. That's where we start getting it wrong. Or maybe even your parents are inciting you against each other. Because you might find that somebody in the family is so successful, that is the favorite child of the children, or of the father and the mother. And some will be looking at the other and say, you are a total failure. Don't you even want to associate yourself. They don't want to associate themselves with you.
Yeah.
I think that's where we started getting it wrong. Showing favoritism of one child over the other. That's where it's all, for me, I feel that it starts from there. So that when you show this somebody is favored, you see, as you grow up, you will see.
They're being resentments.
Yes. So even when we are this big, you still have that burden in your heart. And you feel that if I get an opportunity, I will teach this person a lesson.
Fix this guy.
Yes. Because of what you've been through. So for me, it's how we are brought up as a family. So if the upbringing is bad, trust you me, even at death, it will be worse.
So what would be now the, how do you tell your parents, let's say you are the one, how do you even bring the subjects? How would you advise somebody to broach the subject of a will in a family? Let's say you have an ailing parent, or maybe you don't. Like you said, we live in COVID times. A lot of us have gone when we were not thinking we would, you know, and we have seen people, you know, who are healthy today and gone tomorrow, especially in the last 1.5 years.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Well, Levi, it's a difficult topic to bring to the table. I personally have not done it. For the reason that you might be bringing
even
it up.
In your own home.
I think my mom is watching. She will talk to my dad. But anyway, it's a very sensitive topic, because how do you sit your mother and father down and tell them?
Yeah. What will you be up to?
Exactly. That would be their question number one. What is this guy up to? What are you trying to tell us? Do you want to kill me? You know, they'll be like, what is this girl? Is she even serious? You want to kill us before our time?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? But for me, I think we should continue creating more awareness. Every time I'm around people, like, of course, elderly people, it becomes difficult to even talk to our peers about the same. I try to bring the topic slow, from far, and touch on kidogo, you know.
Yeah. Or even you touch on, you know, unaangalia kesi ya nani.
Yeah. Actually, I give them an example of there's a case that has dragged in court for over the years. So it's in public domain.
40 years plus.
Yes. So and they're like, you tell us more. You see, the interest is there, but there are no people to do that. I personally do that as a way of, you know, getting, probably to give back to the community.
Creating that awareness.
Yeah, creating that awareness. I do create awareness. Every time I have an opportunity, I do that. So that at the end of the day, I would be so saddened to see a neighbor at home, you know, they are fighting over a property, and I was in a position to tell them to do.
Because you tell us, you're the one in court. How many cases like this do you see?
Oh my goodness. It's crazy. Levi, it's crazy. If you look at the cost list for Milimani family division, it's actually on Kenya law. You can actually Google Kenya law, you look at the cost list for family division. It's a whole list. You can even get a judge as over 60 matters for succession. That is one judge. The same to the next court. That is Nairobi. And at home, number one, people are afraid to file for succession. Why would you be afraid? You want the estate of the deceased to waste away. For what reason? And number two, the families cannot agree. I'm telling you for free. You are not agreeing that estate will waste away in terms of legal fees. It will not waste away because an advocate, of course, will be benefiting.
Oh, because as it continues, they still remove money to pay the fees.
Of course, you will need to pay legal fees.
Oh, wow.
And somebody will be asking probably within this 1 year or 2 years before the succession is completed, this person had children. who need to pay school fees. We need money from the bank accounts and whatnot. There are clear provisions for that. You can apply for a special grant for you to access the bank account and pay school fees.
What if I already have my parents' ATM and PIN number? Can I just go and...
No, you can't. That would be
continue taking.
That's a criminal offense, actually. You're impersonating yourself. You see, the ATM is given to me as an individual. In as much as I know the ATM of my mother and the PIN, I cannot go to withdraw on her behalf. That is why the banks will tell you, if you are visually impaired, they can't give you an ATM. Because that ATM is supposed to be for your personal use, you alone. The banks will not give you for a visually impaired if you can't use the machine. But
my wife will say, my husband has died, he's the one who's the breadwinner. I know the accounts, I've always been having money, hata nimekuwa nikitoa.
Now that would be like more of, there's something we didn't talk about. We mentioned slightly intermeddling. Intermeddling in the sense that the administrator of the estate is yet to be like properly appointed by the court or has been appointed by the court, and you're trying to sell property before
So what you're saying is when somebody has passed on, everything stops fast.
Yes, it should stop fast
until we deal with this succession issue.
Yes, that's why people fundraise generously for burials, because we know we can't access legally. You can't access his account to 80.
Actually, people fundraise so they can eat.
Of course, food is very important.
No one is caring about that.
No. They need to know that.
But they should be fundraising for the after.
For the after.
Shortly after.
Shortly after, because
period.
it becomes really difficult. Imagine you're left there a widow, you have children, before you even go get the strength to go to court to apply for all these things, which might take again a while, because the court is not just seated there to wait for you. There are other matters, and you cannot be prioritized, of course, unless.
And we Africans, if you go too fast, you look eager.
So we need to support, walk the journey with these widows, because they need that support. Is needed, because until and unless the administrator has been appointed, even the banks cannot release money. You will go to the bank and say you want to access an account where you are, let's say it's a company account. We were both signatories, we are both directors. One has died, I want to go and access. They can't give me. They will tell me, come with a grant from court. That's like a court order for you to be able to access the account.
Wow.
Because this person is no longer there.
Wow, you know how many people we don't know these things.
Yeah, I think for the law says ignorance of the law is not defense, but it's not a defense. But for this one, I can defend people, because I feel, from where I sit, we've not created awareness in terms of all aspects of the law. Of course, we will come do a show like we're doing here today. I don't know how many viewers have watched. Maybe they have questions. You do not have that time to explain.
To properly give the information.
Because, of course, there's the limitation of time.
Yeah, but, which we are running out of. But
we are running out of time. So I feel that take advantage of the people around you. I mean, there are not only lawyers, there are others who have, in a way have found out about these issues. Don't look at people from Nairobi, they're like untouchables. You need to interact and know what is happening. Because these laws keep changing. The parliament will be doing legislations every morning, afternoon, evening. I mean, things keep changing. And you can't sit down and say, I don't know what is happening in Nairobi.
Be aware.
Be aware. As I tell my people back from where I come from, every time you see me, you just ask me anything. Anything that you feel is bothering you. And actually, when my people are very, they accept that they don't know. You see, the other problem that ails us as Kenyans is we know it all. You cannot say that you don't know.
Just ask someone for directions.
Yes. So for me,
tell you cut a left. Yeah, it's we are pretentious.
So creating awareness in terms of specifically for succession, I think it's very important. It's very important. Every time you have an opportunity to get somebody to have a conversation about succession, It's very important.
Okay, so for that parent who has watched you, that husband, that wife, person with the property who has thought about a will but never really made the move, I want you to speak to them as we close. What's their take home this morning? Tell them right there.
So for that parent that is watching and is actually afraid, because maybe I have mentioned something that really ministered directly to your heart, take the bold step, go to your trusted advocate. You could actually have a discussion before going directly to the will. Have a discussion. What is this about? I could not have covered everything in the short time that we had. Have a discussion, ask them questions where you didn't understand, inquire, have full knowledge of what the process is all about, and then you can be able to make a decision, because you're not supposed to be forced to make that decision. But I would really, really advise that you do.
Thank you so much, Grace. I've learned a lot myself also.
You're welcome.
I'd love to call you back so we can talk about
I thought we would have. I thought the 59 minutes are a long time to even talk about land law, which is a very emotive issue.
Land, yes.
Yes, we didn't. I will come back.
Yeah, there's divorce, there's land, there's children.
Children, yes. I'll need to come back and tackle these topics.
You will, and we'll have that discussion. Thank you so much for watching 59 Minutes, Grace and NTEERE. Akiyo Gina, basi najaribu. Advocate of the High Court has talked to us about some of the things we should know about the law. We will be talking more and we'll continue conversing. Take care of yourselves and each other and have a blessed day. Stay tuned for later coming up with the lawsuit.